All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome to the June Appy Hours event. I'm Kelsey Van Scoy, and I'm the Content and Campaign Marketing Manager for the ecosystem team here at Atlassian. We're super excited because we have 4 amazing marketplace partners with us today to present their Jira analytics and reporting apps. Our guests today are Umer from K15T presenting Backbone Issue Sync for Jira, Rina from RadBee presenting Jira Snapshots for Confluence, Bob from Hakkiri Software presenting Agile PPM, and then Violetta from Planyway presenting Jira Portfolio Management. Here's how this will work today. For those of you that might not join before, we'll have each of our partners demo their apps, and at the end of all 4 demos, we'll have a few minutes for anyone to ask any clarifying questions before we go in and vote for the favorite app demo. So without further ado, first up, we have Umer from K15T presenting Backbone Issue Sync for Jira.
Thank you very much, Kelsey.
Thank you.
Let me share my screen. And start the presentation. All right. Can everybody see my screen? Cool. So my name is Umer Sohail. I am a product marketing manager at K15T. And today I want to share a story about my friend Mark. He's a project manager and a consultant at a large software company called Smart App. Like most of us, he uses Jira software to handle his day-to-day tasks like organizing issues and assigning them to his teams. And when he's not organizing Jira issues, he likes to do some bird watching in his free time. Mark gets many app improvement, service requests, and bug reports from his clients on a daily basis. And he has a lot of clients as well. His topmost priority is to resolve the customer request as quickly and accurately as possible. So Smart Apps customers are happy and satisfied while he has some spare time for his hobby. Unfortunately, the problem of disjointed nature of platforms stands in his way. His clients are obviously not using the same Jira instance as Smart App. Instead, they create these tickets in their own Jira or JSM projects, and then assign them. They give Mark and colleagues access to their own Jira instance and then assign them these issues. Therefore, Mark has to sadly manually copy these issues and associate comments and attachments back and forth between the client's Jira instance and his own Jira instance. All of Mark's time is consumed jumping through different Jira projects and manually copying these issues. Time that would have been better spent resolving these client requests. So what's the solution? This is where Backbone Issue Sync for Jira can help. Backbone can help you connect your Jira projects with other Jira or JSM projects. This enables you to synchronize your Jira issues between the 2 platforms without ever leaving your own project. The goal of Backbone is to make collaboration easier between teams in working in Jira, either in the same company or even or across different organizations. So that means no more switching back and forth between different tools and manually copy pasting information. Each team can remain in their own project, and Backbone helps in connecting these projects. You can sync any Jira issues and between any kind of Jira, so Jira service management or software or work management, and also all kinds of deployments to cloud server or data center. So let's go back to the example of Smart App. They can use Backbone to connect their Jira project with their clients' projects instead of manually copy pasting or creating new projects maybe. This allows Mark to stay in his own project while working on the client's Jira ticket and always keep them up to date. So this is how Backbone looks. So after the right configuration of Backbone app, a ticket with a specific label, such as external, could be used to automatically sync tickets to the client's Jira project. And this label can be defined in the JQL editor, so it's very easy. This would create the same ticket on the client side. To configure Backbone, you need to set up a synchronization between the 2 projects. So first step, you can select any type of issues you want to synchronize on both sides. In general, any type of issues can be mapped either unidirectionally or bidirectionally. Similarly, you can configure your synchronization or more on a field level as well. So you can define what fields are being shared with other Jira instances. It could also be unidirectional or bidirectional. In this case, in this example, we'll just synchronize description and summary. Both projects might also have different kind of workflows, so you can also synchronize workflows. And this could be also unidirectional or bidirectional. Similarly, you can synchronize comments, and if you want more details on the comments, then you can use the enriched mapping setting, which will give you details about the comment, author, and time. And same goes for the attachments. Let's see Backbone in action. So for example, the client updates a description on an issue. They save the description. They also add a comment and save it. And the last step, the client also wants to indicate that the issue is in progress. So they change the status to in progress. Because this was connected using Backbone. So on the other side, on the Smart Apps project, you can see the description and status have been updated. Backbone has also added the comment. And it is that simple. Smart App can keep working in their own project while have still visibility or complete visibility into the client's project. And both sides can remain up to date at all times. That was all from my side. If you have any questions or want to learn more, you can go to k15t.com/backbone or scan the QR code here. The app is available on Marketplace, and you can use it for free for 30 days as a demo. My name is Umer Sohail, and thank you very much for your attention.
Love it. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Rina Nir from RadBee presenting Jira Snapshots for Confluence.
Hello, Kelsey and everybody. Thanks for being here. Jira Snapshots for Confluence was developed for project managers. We know that you work hard to put everybody on the same page. Everybody is not only the engineering team, it's also the C-suites, the customer, the marketers, and many other people who are not living and breathing in Jira. Jira Snapshots is the easiest way to sync everyone on project status without forcing them into your Jira kitchen.
Hey, Rina, are you sharing your screen? Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure. Okay, I was like, is that, I just want to make sure you were
okay.
Sorry about that.
Suspense.
I like this.
Here is the Confluence page. So finally, we see it. Here is the Confluence page with a Jira snapshot table. It lists all our open issues with the fields that we have selected to show. This data is a static copy of Jira data at a point of time. Everyone on Confluence sees the same list, even if they do not have a Jira access. That's because all this data is stored inside Confluence. I use this page for project status reviews because we regularly take new snapshots, and I've just launched the take of new snapshot. It lets us see how the project progressed over time. So as I have a new snapshot now, I can just click the compare button to see what changed in the project between what I have now and what we previously reviewed. My bosses love this because they do not need to check all issues. We focus only on the things that changed. A fun fact is that one of our customers took a snapshot of 12,000 issues from Jira. Imagine reviewing 12,000 issues without the diff feature. So let's have a look on the backside and see how it's configured. So Jira Snapshots is basically a macro on the Confluence page. And when we edit the macro configuration, we can see that the snapshot is basically driven by a normal JQL, exactly the same JQL as you can use inside Jira. And the fields that it takes is the fields I selected from all the custom fields or the standard fields that you have on your Jira instance. Now, a curious point here is that it lets me add a new level. So are snapshots hierarchical? Yes, you can basically reflect in snapshots the hierarchy that you have in Jira, whatever and however you define it. This is an example of a page with 3 levels hierarchy. It starts with the epic, and then all the open issues inside this epic. And because we focus now on blockers, it brings us all the blockers to those issues. So if I look at Dev 81, just to show you how it is in Jira, Dev T 81 inside Jira is blocked by 2 issues. So that's the Jira link. And snapshots is configured here in this particular case to retrieve those 2 blocked issues and surface them so that everybody can see that these are the blockers. And last but not least, snapshots also has a deep integration with X-Ray. So if you are a project where you use X-Ray test management, you can easily build your traceability reports using the hierarchy from functional specification to test all the way to test runs. So the fun fact is that in production, we have a customer that defined a snapshot with 7 levels. So there's no limit, but seems to be that 7 is the maximum that one of our customers use. So to recap, make status meetings short and easy with Jira Snapshots for Confluence. Jira Snapshots is available both on cloud and data center, and we are a cloud fortified app with 4-star rating. And last, this demo is done on the RadBee sandbox.atlassian.net site. It's an open site. Anybody with an Atlassian account can connect. So feel free after the demo to join the site or connect with me directly, either on LinkedIn or wherever. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rina. That's a really awesome app. Next up, we have Bob from Hakkiri Software presenting Agile PPM.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Thank you.
Share my screen here. All right, thanks everyone. I am Bob, and I am the CEO, co-founder of Hakkiri Software. Hakkiri is a Jira Marketplace add-on that empowers Agile organizations to deliver a product with speed and predictability. We put planning, tracking, performance analysis, and reporting all in one platform. There's a lot of functionality, enterprise level functionality in here. For this demo, I'm going to focus on a pretty common example. I just got cornered by my chief product officer in the hallway, and he comes after me and he looks me in the eyes and he says, I want to know what the status is of our ChatGPT integration. Now, normally I would run around, talk to the different teams involved, but I have Hakkiri here, so I'm going to see what it can do for me. So just as a background, the demo that is set up here is tracking 7 different Agile teams. 6 of them are running Scrum, 1 is running Kanban, and it is tracking them all day, every day across the work that they do. So for this ChatGPT integration, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go to Plan Deliverables, and let's call it a goal. And I'm going to go ahead and add a new goal. Now, thankfully, my teams, I know they've been diligent and they have named their epics to have ChatGPT in the name. So this panel over here is pulling all the trackable work items from all the teams. So we sit on top of the team. So we're basically doing aggregation across the different teams. And I'm going to go ahead and add these to this deliverable. I did mention that one of the benefits of Hakkiri is it is a complete time series platform. So it's taking snapshots as work is progressing. It's doing a nightly reconciliation, and it's saving it all so that we can see the burn-up charts. I'm kind of pushing the system a little bit here. Great. So we can already see from Hakkiri that after adding these epics, that we're 36% done. So I'm pretty happy. I can go back and give my chief product officer an answer. We're 36% done. However, there's a lot of tools out there that can do this type of aggregation, and it doesn't always tell you the whole story. So because Hakkiri has been watching things behind the scenes, I can come down here and I can set my start date to June 1st. I know that we wanted to complete it by July 31st. And then I have this button here that's build history from start date. So this is a very powerful functionality. So even though I forgot to track this when the project actually started, because Hakkiri has been watching all the underlying data, I can now go and do an aggregation every day from June 1st until today. Now this takes a few minutes because this goes in the back end and reaggregates everything. Let's just check in on it. Okay, great. It's done already. So we started with being able to tell our boss that we were 36% done. Now that we can see how this data is unfolded with this burn-up chart, we can see that we've actually been 36% done, and it hasn't really moved a lot over the last week. So the story is getting a little bit more nuanced here. So I can click on this, which brings me over to the track section. I can see that Hakkiri is now projecting that this is going to be done in October, right? So this is not the news that my chief product officer is going to want to hear. So we can dive in a little bit further now. Clicking on that deliverable, I get a team by team breakdown of how the teams are doing. So I can see that the planning tools team is 100% done. Great. I can see that the integrations API team is actually not started yet. And the reporting team, they're 7% done. The other thing I can see is that they're also only 7% aligned to this overall deliverable. That means of everything they have going on right now, only 7% of their capacity is focused on that. So this could be something I want to dive into a little bit more. And with this view, I can not only see, again, the focus, but I can see what else they're working on. This gives me everything that I need to go back to the chief product officer and give him a clear picture of what's going on. While we are trending off right now, we have all the data that we need to reprioritize and still get something delivered by July 31st. And, sometimes your chief product officer might not want to go into Jira, might not want Hakkiri. So we have the ability to export all that data to PowerPoint in a way that can be edited, for whatever you need to do to deliver to them. So to recap here, in the last few minutes, we went from having no status on an overall initiative to finding the elements that are part of it, to attaching them, to getting a percentage done, to retroactively creating a burn up, to getting a projection that told us that we're off track, to getting a team by team breakdown of how each of them are contributing to it, and the ability to export it. Now, that is just a small piece of the functionality in Hakkiri. Imagine having that across every single roadmap item, across every single deliverable, across your entire organization, in a way that you can generate editable, exportable reports in ways that your executive team likes to receive them. So again, there's lots of functionality in Hakkiri. I wanted to focus just on the what's the status question. But if you are in the market for or unhappy with your current portfolio program management tool, check us out. And if you want to help the world get to know us more, vote for us for best demo. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bob. Looks like an awesome app. Last but not least, we have Violetta from Planyway presenting Jira portfolio management, resource planning, and time tracking.
Hi, everyone. So I'm very happy to be here today. Thank you very much for joining. My name is Violetta, and I'm a customer success manager in Planyway. So what Planyway is, first of all? So first of all, that is a project planning tool. And our goal in Jira is to help you to visualize everything that you have on your Jira boards in a more comprehensive way. So with the idea of finding the best way to manage your resources, to manage your team workload, planning out and organizing your project roadmaps, and even do time tracking. So today I'll briefly cover the main views that our app provides. And then if you'd like to learn more, so you're always welcome to try our 30-day free trial. So here we are. That is what Planyway looks like. So you see that actually it contains of two parts. So the first part is devoted to visual planning. In Planyway, it can be represented in two different ways, so calendar and timeline. And on the right, you may see this task list. So actually, just for your information, these cards that you see here and these lists, these are the same things that you have on your Jira boards. So we just put them here on the side. If you like the Kanban orientation and you want to put them at the bottom like you're used to in Jira, so you always can change the settings. So the idea is to make the magic actually. So what we allow you to do to have this planning super simple, you can easily drag your cards from your Jira task list to the timeline or to the calendar to do the following. So you can schedule cards like this. So you see that I dragged the card and it was scheduled first of all. I just dragged it and extended the duration. And at the same time, when I dragged a card to a person, the card was assigned to her. So it was allocated. So in just seconds, you can easily schedule cards and you can easily assign cards to people. So you can see that data was also changed on the card. So briefly showing you this part of Jira interface. So here we added 4 tabs so that you can easily filter your Jira board. So you can see the backlog separately, the board itself, the epics, and also the releases. So that is the structure that we have. And now let's focus more on the Planyway itself. So I mentioned in the very beginning that we are super good for managing resources. So this view, this is a timeline that is grouped by user. So here you can see the button for grouping. It allows you to visualize all team members who are inside this Jira project. Then it's super easy to see who is doing what, who is working on what. As I showed you before, you can drag cards to a person and this way allocate tasks to people. But if you'd like to get more resources in terms of managing workload, you can easily switch from the timeline view to the workload. So what will change? You may see that now, rather than just having Jira issues visualized on the timeline, you may see different numbers, sort of indicators on top of them. So these are so-called workload indicators. How they work. So these are sort of tips for you to understand whether the person is over allocated or under allocated. So in case you have red numbers, so that means that I'm over allocated for certain hours. And if it's blue, so it means that I can add more tasks to this person for this day. So these workload indicators work based on 3 criteria. So first of all, that's of course your capacity that you set in settings. So let's say that I can only work 8 hours per day. Then inside a Jira issue, if you open it, you will have the field called original estimate. That is, or story point estimate. That is the estimation that we take from Jira. And the third criteria is, of course, the issue duration. So because the card lasts this number of days, so the calculation is like this. If I stretch the card to the left, my calculation will change. You see that now these 3 days, they are perfectly good. And if I extend the card to the right, so I'll recalculate this card for more days. Yes, so I'll be able to add more tasks here because I have almost 3.5 hours left. In case your person, your team member is working on multiple cards at a time, so then the calculation will take into account all cards that this person is working on during this day. The other advantage of the app is that in case you are working on multiple Jira projects at a time, so we allow you to connect these projects here. So you can open the main menu, and here you are able to choose any projects that you have in Jira, add them like this. I've previously done this, so feature payment. So if I uncheck it, you will see this amount of cards. Yet if I put the tick on, you will see more cards. So if I connect the second project, I'm viewing the workload across 2 projects. If I connect the third one, I'll be overviewing 3 projects at a time. So this is how the multiple project management works from the perspective of team management. But if you'd like to have certain, I would say, project roadmap or maybe project portfolio, that's also an option. Then you may return to the timeline view and just change the grouping. So you can choose the project grouping, and then we will have a project per lane. So the second project and a lane with all the issues that are scheduled. If I connect more projects, I will have more lanes here. So this way you can visualize your project portfolio. When I was switching the groupings here, you may have noticed that we have another option. So X. That is another alternative for you to visualize your roadmap. You can do this also from the perspective of your epics. So all epics from all connected projects will show up here, and you'll be able to view how things are going on, how things are progressing, how the projects are progressing. So I also mentioned in the very beginning that apart from planning capabilities, we also provide you with time tracking. So time tracking is pretty straightforward with Planyway. When you have Planyway added as an add-on to Trello, so you will have this field, Planyway, that you need to open, and then inside any Jira issue, you will have this field, date and time tracking. So that means that you or your team members can start tracking time right from inside the Jira issue, like this with a timer, or you can track time manually. Alternatively, you may also make use of our time tracking views. So we have the list option like this. So you can add some description of a job, select the issue that you've been working on, and choose the time. So like this, manually, or you can start the timer as well. So alternatively, there is also the option for calendar time tracking. This is sort of a timesheet. You are just selecting the time range when you've been working on the card, selecting the Jira issue, and then the time entry is created. So everything is synced, so you may track time either inside the Jira issue, list view, calendar view, everything is synced. You will see the same time entries everywhere. And then if you decide to organize certain reports, that's also not a problem. You just switch to the reporting tab. And here you have certain filters. So you may choose the projects. Again, the report can be built across multiple projects. You set the date range, choose people, team members who are working on the project, and you will have first of all the diagram, and secondly, you will have these 2 tabs. The first one will calculate spend time across issues. So you will have each project, then inside all the epics and other issues, then you can collapse and see all the time entries. And here you can see the time. From another angle, you can also do this from the angle of team members. So I can see my name. So here is the number of hours that I spent working on the project. Then you can view all the epics that I worked on and all the time entries that I created inside. So that's how it looks like inside reporting. If you'd like to move further and you'd like to export maybe this data, that's also not a problem. You can always click here, export, and export all of these data, not only time tracking, but also all the information from the projects, like dates, assignees, labels, so everything to Excel, a CSV file, and process it further for reporting. So super briefly, this is it. I hope that you found it useful. So thank you very much. And I hope that you will give it a try as a trial. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That app does a lot. Looks great. Before we dive into the poll, does anyone have any quick questions for clarification? All right. Without further ado, it's time for our audience to vote. I'll give everyone a moment to vote for your favorite app demo in the poll. 1 second, let me pull the poll up. All right, poll should be live. Right, a few more seconds. Looks like a few more trickling in. Amazing. So it looks like Bob from Hakkiri Software presenting Agile PPM is our winner today. Great job to all of our presenters and thanks to everyone for voting. All our demo participants, let's just screenshot this. All our demo participants will receive our special Appy Hours badge on the Atlassian community. And thanks again for everyone taking the time to join us this month. We'll publish a recap and recording next week on the apps and integrations section of our community. And stay tuned for our next Appy Hours event happening in September. Thanks again. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
All right.
Thanks, Kelsey.